10 authenticating proofs of the gospel. Number one, the book of the covenant and the book of the law are not synonymous. Deuteronomy 31, verse 26. Number two, there has been a change of law. Hebrews 7:12, 7:18, and Genesis 49:10. Number three, the rightly dividing point of the law is Exodus 24:11. We keep the covenant Torah from Genesis 1:1 to Exodus 24:11, not the maintaining, added, imposed book of the law of carnal commandments that is against us. I'm not saying you abrogate Torah. Let it never be. But we must rightly divide it, dovetailing into the rest of the word, which is what? Yah breathed for teaching, reproof, correcting, and training in the Melchizedek, 2 Timothy 3:6. And number four, it was the book of the law that was added after the golden calf breach. A false gospel. Listen, a false gospel propagates that only the Levitical priesthood was added after the golden calf breach. But Hebrews 7:11 exposes this as another gospel. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law. Well, what law did the people receive under the Levitical priesthood? It can't be the Torah, book of the covenant, because they received that in Exodus 19 through Exodus 24, before the invention of the Levitical priesthood. This leaves the only law available that they could receive under the later Levitical priesthood was the added book of the law after the golden calf breach and the invention of the Levitical priesthood. Number five, the book of Ezekiel isn't millennial, but a collection of 13 date-stamped scrolls. Number six, Jeremiah 33:17 speaks to the kingship and Levitical conditional covenant promise outlined in 1 Kings 9:5 and Jeremiah 22 verse 30, which Israel broke, did they not? They broke the conditional covenant because there is no everlasting Levitical priesthood and there has not been an everlasting Davidic king sitting on the throne in Jerusalem for the past 2,000 years. Has there? No, because people like to divorce this from 1 Kings 9:5 and Jeremiah 22:30, the context of a conditional covenant which was broken. So, the seventh authenticating measure of the true gospel, there is an order of Melchizedek priests here on earth today. I mean, the Master's Prayer is pretty clear about that, isn't it? Let your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Trying to isolate Hebrews chapter 8, verse 4 as a proof text, divorced from the 7 preceding chapters in Hebrews to make a Levitical point, is disingenuous. And that's what people do. The eighth authenticating point of the gospel, the Melchizedek priesthood of believers are the true temple. The temple that the Temple Institute and the pseudo-Jews have planned will in fact be not the true temple, but the abomination that Yahweh has told us about in his scripture to be avoiding. Because he has already chosen his temple. He has already chosen his kingdom of Melchizedek priests. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 10. And the ninth authenticating point of the gospel, you cannot add to an already blood-ratified covenant. Exodus 24:7 and Galatians 3:15. So if the covenant was blood-ratified, the book of the covenant in Exodus 24 verse 7, that means that you cannot add anything to it. So then when a law is mentioned, come up here and receive this law also, in Exodus 24, verse 12, can that be part of the already blood-ratified covenant? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It cannot be. It is another law that is not part of the blood-ratified covenant. You have to deal with that. And people that have the opposition to the true gospel will skim over these things. And as I've read commentaries, institutionalized church commentaries, they skim over the book of the law, don't even address it. Don't even address it. You have to address what is the book of the law. You have to. You cannot bypass it. And finally, the 10th authenticating point of the true gospel. The context of Galatians is the dichotomy between the book of the law that we're freed from and the new covenant given as Torah, the book of the covenant, which Messiah's blood has enabled us to be partakers of. The covenants of promise, which we were strangers, cut off from. That commonwealth of faith, Ephesians 2, that we are now part of. This is amazing.